Welcome back to my channel Lomzy Sews. In today's sewing tutorial, I will show you how to cut and sew this simple bubu gown style. It's very simple and it's beginner friendly. If this is what you have been looking for, make sure not to skip any part of this video so that you don't miss anything. Let's start with the tutorial. To sew this bubu, you will need just 2 yards of fabric. I'm using chiffon. You can use crepe, you can use duchess, you can use satin for this. I'm going to fold my fabric into 2. I'm cutting the back first, and I'll use the back to cut out the front. So here I have my fabric folded into 2, as you can see. Note that you can cut your front and back at the same time. Here I have my fabric on fold 18 inches. First thing I'm going to do is to mark a starting line. This line will serve as my shoulder line. So I'll go ahead and square this to the end of the fabric. Next, I'm going to mark the neck width. I'm using the neck width of 3.5 inches. You can decide to make it wider. Next, I'm going to mark the shoulder divided by 2. I'll mark it here. Next, I'll make a shoulder slope of 1 inch. And I'm going to connect this to the neck width. So connect this to this. I'll square this line down to the sleeve length. So take it down to the sleeve length, as you can see me do. This same measurement can work for size 8 to 16. Next, I'm going to mark the neck depth of 1 inch. I'll go ahead and connect this like this. Next, I'll mark shoulder to waist as 18 inches. I'm going to mark it here and square this line out. Next, we're going to go over to the sleeve. I'll shift this like this so that you'll be able to see the sleeve. I'm going to square this from the shoulder slants like this, as you see me do. Next, I'm going to mark the sleeve, round sleeve. I'm going to mark 10 inches, but you can take this up to 12 inches if you want to. Next, I'm going to square this in, and I'm going to measure out 3 inches from the sleeve opening. I'll measure 3 inches here. Whatever I have there, I'm going to measure that to the center front, and whatever I have, I'm going to take it down to the hemline. So you're going to have a T like this. So square this down to the hemline. And then you're going to mark a curve like this to make a dormant sleeve. We are pretty done with this. I'll go ahead and cut this. Guys, this is very simple, and I believe a beginner will be able to cut this without any assistance. But if you think there's something you're not understanding, let me know in the comment section. I'll be waiting there for your comments. To cut the neckline, I'm going to add ½ inch on the neckline, and also for the shoulder I'm going to add ½ inch so that my length won't be short. Remember, you can use any length of your choice. I use 60 inches. So next thing, I'm going to place this on another fabric and cut out for the front. This is it, and I'm going to cut out for the front. So I'll cut out the neckline and the shoulder. Next, I'm going to mark the place where I'm going to add for the slit. From the hemline, I'm going to come up 17 inches, and I'm going to notch a place where my slit will be starting. This would have a slit. If it doesn't have a slit, you will not be able to work well. So I marked 17 inches from the hemline. Next, I'm going to cut the neckline for the front. Remember, what we have is the neckline for the back only. So I'm going to come down from the neckline. I'm going to come down 1 inch and then place and mark the neck width of 4.5 inches for the front neck depth. I hope you understand me. So I'll go ahead and cut this out. You can also decide not to make it this deep. You can make it 3.5 from the neckline, the back neckline. So next thing I'm going to do is to use this and cut out a facing. As you can see, I've made a crease in front, which will be very, very important. Here is my facing. I'm going to place the facing here. You can see I have already overlocked it. You can decide to hem this. So I'm going to place this like this, aligning the center front and the neckline prop. You can pin this down if you want to. Next, I'm going to mark the slit opening. I made mine 5 inches. You can decide to come down more. So I'll go ahead and go to my machine now, and I'm sewing quarter of an inch on both sides of the center front and also the neckline. As you can see, the neckline I made 1/2 inch and quarter of an inch on both sides of the neck on the center front. Make sure to notch this and be careful when notching it so you don't cut your thread. And then I'm going to notch the end of the slit. This will help it to sit properly. You know you want your slits not to have dimples, so you're going to snip this. I'm going to also notch the round neck so that it will sit properly. These are good sewing tips and tricks that you need to learn if you're a beginner. I'm going to go ahead and turn this out. Make sure to bring out the sharp corners. I'm going to go over to my machine and make a top stitch on the neckline. First of all, I'm going to go ahead and iron this. So go ahead and iron it properly and you top stitch it. This is it after sewing it. As you can see, I went ahead and top stitched it and I stopped here. You can't sew the sharp corner, so this is where you're going to stop the top stitch. And for the back, I've also made the facing for the back. So next thing we're going to do is to sew the shoulder. I'm going to place right side facing together like this, and I'm going to sew the shoulder. I have 1/2 inch sewing allowance on the shoulder, so I'll sew 1/2 inch away. This is it after sewing it. As you can see, the Bubu gown is turning out nicely and as planned. Next, we are going to be making an elastic casing for the back. So here I have my notches where I want to place the elastic. I measured exactly what I have on the back like this. Make sure you make them equal, and then I'm going to place elastic into it. Let the elastic be half of the whatever you have. So I'm going to put this into this place and I'm going to attach it here for it to guide the waistline. So this is it after adding it, as you can see. Next, I'm going to fold the side seam, right sides facing together. I'm going to place this right side facing together and I'm going to sew it. From the sleeve, you're going to sew it down to the place where we have notched for the slits. So you're going to also fold this into 2 like this, just to make a slit there. After I was done, this is how it's looking. I have made the slit and I've also hemmed the lower part, as you can see. Next, we are going to sew the sleeve. So here I have overlocked the sleeve. I'm going to fold it just once and I'm going to sew it. This is very, very easy for beginners. So you can go ahead and tack the neckline or you can use hemming gum. So guys, we have actually come to the end of today's sewing tutorial. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.